So we're here at the 13th floor talking to Helena Massey. Am I correcting your name correctly?
Yeah, Helena. Yeah.
Helena. Okay, very good. And you're over in Australia. You're releasing an album, or you released an album called Brothers, Puffins, and Half Skulls. So uh, my understanding is that you work with a New Zealand label. Is that right?
Yeah. I've been working with Home Alone Music, and yeah, it all really happened online, sort of as COVID hit.
Right.
Yeah, so we sort of connected through social media and through Facebook and Instagram. I think Tim and Brooke and Lake, who run the album, that run the label, sorry, I think they had some mutual connections with bands sort of in my area as well. So yeah, there was some mutual connections there in real life, but
Right.
it was all mostly the connection was online.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So Brooke is Brooke Singer, who's also the lead singer of French for Rabbits. So
Yeah.
are you familiar? You familiar with the band, and is that kind of how you got to know each other?
Yeah, not so much through our music. Brooke and Tim reached out because they wanted to put an older song of mine from my previous EP on their Winter Collection label album that they released this year. And I said, they said they wanted to release a song of mine on that, which was really lovely. And I sent them my album unreleased just to say, this is what I've got, and you can choose something from here as well if you like.
Right.
And then they were just interested in releasing it as a whole album, my whole album. So yeah, that was really nice. I wasn't really planning on pitching to albums, and it was just going to be an independent release anyway. So it was sort of, perfect fit. Like, they're just such lovely people, and I feel like we have, similar kind of take and approach on our music. So yeah, it's really nice.
Now, having said that, though, I listened to the album, and it's very different than a lot of stuff I've been listening to these days. It's been coming out. It's almost like the 9 tracks that comprise the album are like one almost long piece of music. Obviously, there are 9 songs, but they kind of flow one into the other, and they kind of all kind of make sense together. Can you, for folks who haven't heard anything yet, how would you describe what you've done here?
That's really nice to hear. Thank you. Yeah, I suppose when you try to describe your music for other people, it's a sort of easier to sometimes give an example of what other people have said to you. It's like, prior to COVID, I was sort of playing a run of shows, and I sort of got insight into how people heard my set, and it was always, I felt it was so relaxing, or I was like really blissing out, and I was like, that's really lovely. So but sort of unexpected at the same time.
Well, today is Sunday, and this is the perfect album to listen to on a Sunday afternoon, especially since we're all locked in and stuff, so it makes sense.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so I think that's something that's kind of quite common, though, with whether you're a visual artist or a musician, though, isn't it? It's like you might be coming from a place of like existential dread or something, but it, comes across as that, the cathartic kind of process, and it comes off as making people feel relaxed. So that's really nice. Yeah, I think it's kind of better to just describe how other people usually take it, because I don't really know how to describe it myself. Yeah.
Now, I'm curious how you look at the role of your lyrics combined with your music, because when I was listening, they seemed to just like meld together into one thing. Like it was very difficult, I found, to pick out the lyrics, but it made sense with the music. Is that kind of what you have in mind?
Oh, nice. Yeah, I don't really like write. I can't really remember, when I think back, how did I write that? Did the words come first or the music come first? And it just kind of all happens together. And yeah, I don't know. I suppose because I'm not usually writing really, I suppose to some listeners it could sound kind of a bit abstract, and I'm not writing verse, chorus, verse.
No, and they're not love songs either.
No, they're not love songs.
You seem to be writing to trees and animals and things.
Yeah, and that just feels a lot more natural to me. I think I would really struggle right now to write a love song. It's just
right.
where I'm at, and so yeah, it's just I don't really plan out that these are the themes and this is what I'm singing about, and it's going to be abstract, or it's you can't understand the words, or it's I can't really describe that. It's just an organic process, I think. So
I'm curious as to what the recording process is like. You've got a lot of kind of reverb all over everything, and are you recording on your own? Do you working with other people, musicians, producers?
Yeah, so I did this whole album, Brothers, Puffins and Half Shells. I did it just me and my friend Raphael Lima. And we recorded everything here where I am in my living room,
right,
at home, and we started recording it in June of last year and finished in February of this year. So I suppose it was just all my songs, and I wanted to record them, and he helped me, and then like I've done most of the guitars. He did a few of the guitars here, like little noodly bits in different pieces, and we did all the synth and the drums together, all in my living room. Like we recorded all the drums in my living room, and it was just like a slow kind of process of just two people working together, and that was the question, wasn't it? The process
something like that.
It was just like a long, slow process of recording at home, which was really nice. I like recording at home. I did record some of the vocals in a studio in Sydney, which was new. I've never done that before, and so that was a good experience. Yeah.
Okay. And so the two of you, what kind of roles do you take on when you're working together?
Well, Raph did have quite a, like he was really helpful, and like I've written all the songs initially, guitar and vocals, as like the backbone of the songs. They're the songs themselves, and I usually just play that as my live set, and then we sort of just dress them up and everything with all the production together, and we sort of worked on those arrangements and productions around it together with all the synth and drums and extra little guitar flourishes and stuff. So that was, it was fun, and it's nice to have someone else, especially someone who has a very different approach on music. He writes kind of poppy rock music, and we have a very different approach to music. So it was really interesting and good in that way. So
right. Now, I mentioned kind of the lyrics kind of blend in with the music, but I noticed on one particular song, on what is it called, Humility, there's a line in there, I have a big sword and I swing it. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty heavy. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about that song and where that's coming from.
Yeah, sure. No one's asked me about that song, and I haven't talked about that. It's kind of the one that I haven't posted about it or anything. It's maybe the one that sits apart from the rest of the songs a bit. It's actually about about sexual abuse and my experience as a young girl. It's quite a cathartic song, and it's a very personal song, but I also feel like it's strong as well. So that was kind of something new for me to express in my albums, or my songs that I haven't before.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you find it easy or difficult to kind of lock into those kind of personal things and put them on a record?
I feel like with that song in particular, to me, the lyrics are quite direct about that.
Right.
Compared to maybe some of the other things, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's not always an easy song to play. Like I've played it live quite a few times, and it takes courage to play those kinds of things. Yeah.
And so, what are your live shows like?
It's been just me and my guitar, really, just like a solo show. That's what I've been doing for the last few years. I started performing 5 years ago, actually doing sort of like an electronic project in Sydney, just singing over pre-recorded electronic tracks in pubs and stuff, and that sort of helped me to be able to step out and play my more personal songs, like with playing my guitar and singing, and that's what I've been doing for the last few years, just getting better at that. And yeah, so usually it's just solo. I have played a few shows when I've been able to have a band together, but yeah, for now it's just me.
And I would imagine that you need to kind of have an audience that's paying attention and is not, clanging bottles and yammering among themselves. Does that happen for your shows?
Yeah, it is hard to find kind of intimate spaces and venues to play in sometimes, especially in Sydney, pub rock.
Right, yeah.
Venues. It's like, if that's what you're doing, that's great, and it's kind of, you can get shows doing that. But I have found it harder to get shows just playing me and my guitar. But there's a few venues that I sort of stick to that are really good for that, and that people are gonna go there to listen to your music. I've played some shows where they're just people, it's full and everyone's just talking over the top of you, and that's fun.
It can't be fun, no. So with a record having come out a couple of weeks ago, and is that something that you're finding is you're missing in part of the process, is getting out?
Yeah, I mean, it would be lovely to be able to play shows. I would really like to be doing that. And the live on Facebook, Instagram thing is kind of weird. It does feel kind of unnatural.
I can imagine it would be.
Yeah, like I've done that a couple of times, and it is a bit weird. I sort of prefer to pre-record something and then post it, but I probably will do another live thing. It just, it's a funny thing.
And have you gotten much feedback from people who have listened to the record and kind of somehow gotten in contact with you and let you know how they feel about it?
Yeah, it's actually been really nice to connect with quite a few people in New Zealand, I think, through Home Alone, and it seems that there's quite a strong folk scene over there, maybe a bit more than there is here. Right. And that's really cool. Like I sort of wasn't aware so much of that, and so it's been really nice to connect with people through that and online. Right.
Yeah, because there was talk of at some point of at least opening up the channels between Australia and New Zealand, but that seems to have died down a bit with everything that's going on. So
yeah, exactly.
We just have to wait and see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, so for folks who haven't heard you, to me, when I first started listening to you, I got the feeling that your sound is kind of rooted in English folk. Is that something that you listen to? I was going to say in your younger years, but you're only 22, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of British folks, people like Bert Jansch and Briggs, Planksty, or like that music's like I absolutely love, and I think it's definitely inspired me. So I definitely understand why people.
And how did you get to how did that music come to you?
How did that music come to? I feel like I maybe discovered Anne Briggs through like a YouTube thing, and I think my dad's always been really into Irish music, like outside of the family's Irish, and he played Planksty a lot when I was, with him growing up, and that's always sort of been around a bit. Yeah. So yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I think also with like people often mention that British folk or the Celtic thing because I use a lot of ornamentations when I'm singing, and it's funny because people often either say, oh, is there like Eastern kind of classical Indian influence or Celtic?
Right.
And it's like those ornamentations that I think they really cross over a lot. And Sheila Chandra is another person who's been hugely influential to me, and her, you know, a lot of her music, a cappella music, blends the two together, and really shows how those ornamentations are really connected. So yeah, it's definitely hard to separate the two sometimes.
And is that your guitar playing throughout the record as well?
Yeah.
You have a very kind of circular style of playing, so are there guitar players that you've listened to that you've kind of taken things from?
Yeah, I probably, just trying to think. I mean, I was when I was sort of learning guitar, and when I was, you know, 7 years ago, starting to write my own songs and things.
Right.
You know, bands like Alice in Chains, all of that kind of 90s music. You know, even like Kristen Hirsch, like her songs were like the first songs that I sort of learned.
I just spoke to her a few days ago.
Yeah, I know. I saw. I was really pleased to see. Yeah, like, you know, her songs were the first songs that I ever learned on guitar.
Right.
I, you know, love her songs, and yeah, so it's just really a big hodgepodge of influences with the guitar. I'm not too sure I can pinpoint one kind of genre or thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. And so during lockdown, I mean, I assume you wrote these songs a while ago. So have you been writing more stuff? Because there's probably not much else you can do, right?
Yeah. I have. I've been weirdly, I've been writing quite a bit of instrumental guitar music at the moment, and just trying to become a better player. And that's kind of something new for me, because usually it's just the lyrics and the guitar just come together somehow, always naturally. And I've been writing instrumental guitar music at the moment, and I'm really enjoying that. So maybe that would be something new.
That would be cool.
Future.
Yeah. All right. We'll look for that, and hopefully you'll come around and play some songs for us in Auckland here.
I'd love to. Yeah.
Have you been here before? I assume you have.
Oh, I've never been to New Zealand before.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that has to happen. So hopefully you'll be coming around playing down on K Road somewhere, and we'll come and see you.
I'd love to. Yeah.
In the meantime, thank you very much for talking to me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Marty. Lovely to talk to you.
You too. Have a nice rest of your Sunday.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, bye-bye.